Well, thanks for having me, Mike. I think as the clip mentioned, Shenzhen really is the forefront of Chinese innovation. China's digital economy, if you just look at its importance to the country's GDP, it's over 35% of the whole country's GDP, and it's still growing double digits. Just to put things in perspective, in the U.S., digital economy is probably less than 10% of GDP, and in dollar amount in China is about, I think, $5 to $6 trillion. So it's really a huge phenomenon that we're looking at, and Shenzhen is definitely the pioneer of both the application and the innovation of digital tools and digital platforms.
I heard one of the people in the story say eventually this is going to be everywhere. What is the potential and how far off is the future, do you think?
Well, I think it depends on how quickly people are really, adapting to new technology. China has already been spending a lot of money on e-commerce, so that's all your online shopping and e-payment systems that the clip mentioned. But in order to take things one step further, for example, Shenzhen now has, I think, over 46,000 5G base stations, and those are going to enable a lot of new connectivities. For example, your refrigerators, self-driving cars, and the Internet of Things, objects that are going to connect through the Internet. So how would people really adapt to that kind of new reality? I think it's still to be seen. And if you look at, I'm pretty confident, because if you look at how fast the Chinese consumers have adopted digital payment systems, through Alipay, through WeChat Pay, they basically leapfrogged from the credit card stage. They jumped straight into mobile payment. So I think the same might happen in the era of 5G and in the era of the so-called Internet of Things. But again, of course, it still depends on whether people are really comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I went out for drinks with a friend of mine late last year, and I pulled out some money, and he says, "Your money's no good here," which meant he was going to pay for it, but he certainly wasn't going to pay with cash. That happens here in the United States. It doesn't happen in China at all, as you said. You heard in the report security, a key question, and privacy concerns, all of that. What more can be done there to ensure user protection, do you think?
Well, one obvious thing that can be done is that the government really has to step forward in creating the new regulatory systems that not only looks after the citizens, but also puts more stringent regulations on the big players, which are becoming really, monopolist players in the market. For example, Baidu, Tencent, and Alibaba, these huge internet conglomerates really control a lot of our data, maybe all of our data, if you live in China. So the government really needs to step forward in becoming more creative. And another relevant point is that, the clip mentioned, I think before, Minister of Foreign Affairs Wang Yi's visit to foreign countries. Just last month, he mentioned that China would like to start a global digital security initiative. So this is, again, something that's going to require more than just Chinese technology companies and Chinese government to step forward, but also other players, because we're living in the age of global internet, and data privacy is not just a sovereign issue, but rather a global challenge. So I think for China to really become the leader, not only in the application or implementation of digital platforms, but also a leader in sort of regulatory and privacy protection, I think a lot can still be done by both the government and private sector players in China and beyond.
And Sean, you mentioned it's global. I've kind of asked you, and if you can be quick, how do you recruit and keep that talent in China if you're out in front like this? Because everybody's going to want it, right?
Yeah, and I think Shenzhen would be a great example. It is one of the cities that's known for its openness and technological development, but it's not really the city with the most the biggest number of top universities. Chinese top universities in Shanghai, in Beijing, not in Shenzhen. So I think these new sort of emerging cities and tech hubs are trying to build up their own education and training facilities and attracting talent by offering them more tax benefits and more subsidies so that people would relocate to these cities. So again, it's through multiple policy tools and also developing the fundamental education system in these cities that would really be on par to the city's own ambitions and technology.
Sean, great analysis. So nice to visit with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Mike.